Welcome to OG Cards. In this video we're going to talk about 4 different subjects, right? 4 different subjects. Now before we get into them subjects, we've built a background of basically a couple items. You know, we got a base set Squirrel, we got a base set Shadowless Charmander, we got a base set Shadowless Staryu, we got a Magic the Gathering card. There's a story behind that Magic the Gathering card because I brought that for the price of an energy drink. And considering it's 23 years old, I consider it very underpriced, undervalued, and it's pretty a cool item. And, you know, it ties in with one of my subjects that I'm basically going to be talking about. And we've got a theme deck, and we've got 2 PSA cards. Now, for example, the theme deck is in the video because there's a story behind that as well. So this is going to be a longer video, but if you're here after a minute in the video, people only watch my videos for like 0.39 seconds. Yeah, they watch it for 39 seconds. Imagine that. That's my average watch time, is 39 seconds. That's why I've got no subscribers. So the difference is subscribers goes down on watch time. Yeah, so for example, the people that watch my video all the way through will get more valuable information and they'll learn something, yeah, from this video. Other people that just click off obviously haven't got time to listen or learn off someone that is basically in more than a better position than you are, yeah? Or I got hundreds, if not a couple, maybe not a couple thousand, but, you know, got some PSA cards back, you know, which basically keep them for safekeeping, and a lot of cards that you just keeping back, yeah? Obviously, your overall, you're keeping them, you've got them just because you're going to grade them eventually and stuff like that, yeah? So, for example, the first subject we're going to go into is retirement. Now, retirement is something that people do when they get to 60 years old. Now, why do you want to retire when you're 60 years old? When you're 60 years old, you probably haven't got as much energy to do things as you was when you was younger, right? And really, you want to be retiring a lot earlier than basically, you know, if you don't want to do anything, you want to sit there and play a game all day, whatever, do what you want, yeah? We're going to be talking about retirement as the one aspect, yeah? Investing in stuff and retiring early, yeah? So that means it could take 5 years off your retirement age. It don't have to be 10, it don't have to be 20, you could take 20 years off if you really wanted to, but we're going to go into creating wealth. So what creating wealth is you buy an item at, say, £1, you buy 100 of them items, and it goes up in price. That's creating wealth because you created money out of something that you brought for so little that has now increased in price to the point where you can make a more financial gain on it. So if you buy a card at £1 and its price after a year goes to maybe 10, yeah, then that means 1 to 10 on 100 items. It's, you know, you work it out for yourself, yeah. You think of a card that's gone up, go look at sold listings. So for example, I can give you an example even with Pokemon. A base set booster pack originally, well, I wouldn't say base set because base set was printed like a lot. And this is the thing, it was printed a lot, but it still holds a high price because it's got the demand. So for example, a booster pack of that was 100 quid. Now, I do know someone that has got a large position in base set packs, yeah? But, you know, considering a light pack is selling for like 900. If you have 100 of them boosters that you paid less than £100 for, now you got 900, or you got, you know, if they go to 900 in price, that means that you've got a stupidly large amount of position. So for each one of your booster packs that is like that, you sit there and you go 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, and you're laughing, right? You're laughing. You're literally laughing because you could literally have the ability of 10 grand sitting in that thickness of item, you know, because that's how basically a booster pack is. It's very thin, yeah. So probably in that amount of items, you could have 10 grand, yeah. So for example, the next one's going to be flipping. So the third subject is flipping. People that flip stuff. People are always on that aspect of flipping things. Now, let's say you buy a theme deck and you flip the coins that are out of the theme deck. That makes sense, yeah, because you're getting your money back for the item. Now, what people do with these Charizard decks, for example, because it's the Vivid Voltage kind of stuff, yeah? People will get this Charizard, they'll crack this Charizard out, and they'll sell it on eBay for more than what they paid for the deck. So they'll go down to their local retail store, or their local supermarket, or whatever, or local store that sells Pokemon cards, right? Someone told me that a store in the UK was selling Pokemon cards, and I was like, they're selling Pokemon cards. Like, when I went in there, and they weren't selling Pokemon cards when I went. But he says, well, one name is selling Pokemon cards. So I was like, oh, right, okay, maybe we should give that one, maybe we should check that one out, right? And he goes, well, I raided it, bro. Raided it, yeah? I'm like, oh, you took everything already, yeah? He's like, yeah. Right, so, there's a guy, obviously, people ask me certain questions, right, who I know, and I give them advice on what I think they should do, yeah? And they go and do it. So I give that for free, yeah? Because I know them personally, yeah? And that's what I do. Right, but I don't like. I wouldn't say it's not a bad thing doing that, but you are obviously creating. If they're buying all the stuff that you want, then yeah, that comes into a bit of selfishness. Comes into a bit of that because you think, well, I'm not letting you buy one. I want to have them all. Like that kind of thing. Yeah. So you've got portfolio diversifying. That's the very last one. That's the fourth subject. Yeah. So portfolio diversifying means if you put all your money into just pure Pokemon cards, and Pokemon, say, after 10 years, says, I'm not being funny, but we've got no money, like, we're in debt, we're bankrupt, we've got no assets in Pokemon cards. Now, something to think about, which I think no one's probably has thought about, is Pokemon printing stuff that actually they know that's got a value. And actually, are they keeping thousands of them promos back? Or thousands of them cards for themselves? You don't know, basically, that if really they needed to, they could sell that particular card. Like, if you think about it, let's say a Pokemon card's worth £500 from a new set. Say, like Champion's Path. How do you know they're not printing 10,000 of them and just keeping them in a box? Right? All in sleeves, all top loaders, or whatever. You don't know, right? If I was that business owner, I'd be pulling shady stuff like that. I'm not being funny, but I would be pulling shady stuff like that. Because if you really needed money and you needed something to release, like, oh, dude, we're broke. We've got no money. We printed a bad set. It don't sell. We made a financial loss of like 2 million, 2 billion, whatever. Yeah, 2 million and 2.5 million. Yeah, and that was our last money. Like, that's how a lot of shops can go bankrupt. A lot of shops, like Alpha Investments say this on his Magic channel all the time. He says card shops go bust. Yeah? Because they go bust because bigger companies buy them out. Yeah, when they go bust. So they buy up all the stock. Yeah? And what they do is, because, certain products have thinner margins, and if it goes out of print and then the next set's bad and they're investing thousands into that next set with not having the ability of knowing how it's going to sell, they might be like, wow, damn, we didn't get enough of this. Some products, they might say we didn't get enough of this, but like, say, Steam Siege. If you invested £100,000 in Steam Siege as a business in the year it came out, I think maybe 2016, 2015, whatever, that could have bankrupted you. Like, that could have actually bankrupted you because nobody wanted it. Do you understand, right? And still nobody wants it now. So going into the aspect of retirement is basically what people do is they work for a company for like 40 years, yeah? And then after 40 years, they've got either a good pension where they can live on that pension comfortably and enjoy their life, yeah? For the rest of the time that they have left, 10, 15 years, whatever. Maybe even 20, 40, 30 years, yeah, you might retire at 60, you might live to 100 years old, you don't know. But you're going to get paid from that company for that amount of time. Even if that company goes bust, you're still going to get that money, right? So, for example, let's say you make that many large positions in Pokemon and you have 5,000 PSA cards sitting in your basement, yeah? Obviously, basements we don't have that in the UK, but it's more of an American thing. I know there's American viewers that watch my channel, yeah, because I was looking at my analytics, and that's how I know people only watch 39 seconds of my video, right? So, for Americans, you could have 5,000 PSA cards sitting in your basement, and those cards you could have bought pennies on the dollar for, yeah? You could have bought them a penny each. £1, £2. Like when I was buying basic squirrels, they're like £2. Right, buying them off eBay, mint condition. PSA 9 probably all day. 8, 9. Yeah, buying them. Buy 10 off one guy. buy 50 Pikachus. I bought 50 jungle Pikachus off one guy for $1.99 each before the guy finally realised that the price on them was way undervalued. And then he boosted them to 8 each. Yeah? So I brought 50 off him before he realised, like, why does this guy want 50 Pikachus? An average person ain't going to want 50 cards. You know, but then again, if you're an investor and you're trying to buy out the market, you'll go on eBay and you'll buy every listing. I used to do it with Blue Eyes White Dragon back in the day, yeah? When Blue Eyes White Dragon, the old one from the theme deck, yeah, was never printed with that skew again. So for example, the theme deck one was never reprinted with the same skew. But the one that came from the booster pack was reprinted 5 times. So when I was saying, well, this Blue Eyes is worth more than the LOB one, people were like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm like, well, this skew, what a skew code means, yeah, a skew code is like what's on a PSA card. That's what a skew means, yeah, a skew. You usually get it in a company where you use it to check stock, yeah? You type the skew in and it says, we've got 30 remaining stock of that. But where is it, yeah? You see? Or something like that. So that's what a skew means, if you don't know what a skew is, yeah? So you type it in, find the product, bam, there you go, boom. That's what that is, yeah? So you create this large position in grading a specific card, you know, it's then worth, you buy hundreds of them, yeah, like Jungle Pikachu, buy hundreds of Jungle Pikachu, and you buy up the remaining market. And then, how many of that guy's got left? He might have 50 left, you don't know. You don't know how many he's got left. But he could have been buying them at 50p, yeah? Or 10p. So for him selling them at £2, he's still making margin on it, yeah? But when you come along, you buy 50 off one guy, or you buy the whole market, like Blue Eyes White Dragon, or whatever, you buy the whole market, and then when someone relists something, it resets the price again. So let's say someone lists something at £2, everyone's listing that card at £2. So then, if that card eventually goes to 10, 15, 20 card, and you've got 50 of them, you know, that's a large amount of money. But what you do with that money is then another decision. You might take it out, and you might spend it all, and then it's not worth nothing, yeah? So the other one is creating wealth, yeah? So this is basically the same thing with retirement. It's, you're basically buying a large amount of cards, and then what happens is you're putting them back, and you're setting them back, and you're setting them back. So for example, into the example of a PSA submission. A PSA submission is if you grade 100 cards or 1,000 cards, what happens is you add expense to that. You got bubble mailers, you got bubble wrap if you double pack them, if you've got card savers, top loaders, whatever, yeah, because you can grade in top loaders, it just takes longer for them to process it. That's why my submissions probably take a bit longer to come back, yeah. And then you've got import tax to deal with, which is another expense. And then you've got your sleeves that you put your cards in. So for example, if you spend 1,000, let's say your gross submission price was £1,500, and then you get 60 cards or just over half your submission, and you sell all them cards and you make half your money back, or you make your money back, yeah, you make your money back and say a bit extra. Now what you do with a bit extra is obviously up to you. Obviously you'll have to pay tax if it's too much. So I mean, on the first submission, if you make only 500 profit and you've never made money before, you won't have to pay tax on that. But when you're making like thousands, over 1,000, like a couple grand, 3 grand, 4 grand off one submission, then yeah, you gotta pay tax on it. That's just the way it goes, yeah. So, for example, if you take 40 cards from that submission and you put them back every submission you took 40 back, 40 back, 40 back, 40 back, 40 back. And then eventually you go back and you look at them 40 cards, or them, say after a year period that you took 40 back each month. 4 times 12 is 48, that's 480 PSA cards, yeah? So if you took 48 PSA cards back, well, 40, what did I say? 480, yeah? 480 PSA cards. If you took 480 PSA cards back and then after a year you go back and look at them and check prices, you'd be like, wow, this price has gone up that much. Like, I brought one card, right, for €7. Yeah? The last sale of that card, raw, was 260. Yeah? And that's not even graded. That's raw card. Yeah? So, for example, that item has boosted in price. Yeah? And obviously mine is in mint condition. So, PSA 9. So, what the price is on it, I don't know. Right? But to me, it's worth the price I paid for the card and the grading fee that it cost me to put the card in the case. That's it. Yeah? So, for example, flipping comes into this example of the PSA submission. So, the flipping aspect is if you buy that PSA submission, yeah, you buy it, and you flip the card, and you flip the card, and you flip the card, so you get 100 cards back, you flip them all. You get rid of the lot. Yeah, you're like, well, get rid of them all. Right? But I can use the money to buy some more cards, get some more cards, and live on the money. Yeah? Right? Say, for example, as a job. Yeah? So you buy all the cards, you flip them, you're not a Pokemon collector, you don't even like Pokemon cards, you just buy them and sell them because you want to make money. Yeah? That's basically flipping the items. You're not giving anything or a time to any of them cards to mature in value and potentially make you double or triple your money in a year to 5 years or whatever. So we'll jump into this magic card because we're quite deep in the video, right? So I brought that magic card for £1.59, right? You can't even buy an energy drink for that price that I bought that for. Now that magic card is 23 years old. Now people used to tell me that Squirtle was never worth anything. No one's in the video right now, and if you are, thanks for watching through. Because when I was grading Squirtle cards, no one said, oh, Squirtle's worthless, but commons are worthless, uncommons are worthless, why are you grading that stuff? Now, to be honest, in Magic the Gathering, not many people grade commons. Not many people grade uncommons. So in my opinion, it's another slept-on area of the market, right? There's a lot of slept-on areas of Pokemon right now, which I'm not going to reveal what that is, because it shouldn't take somebody a long time to think about it and actually work it out, right? So that Magic the Gathering card cost me $1.59, like I just said, right? I know I repeated myself, blah, 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 but £1.59, right, is a fantastic price to be paying for that. Because I used to buy Squirtles at £2, you know? And when I was buying them at £2 and grading them for, say, £8, yeah, grading them for £8, you know, grading them on bulk for £8, you know, the difference is them cards had like a £10 value bought into them. Now, considering how much a PSA 10 foot sold for, it's like £500, you know, £400-500 for a PSA 10. Obviously, it might go down. I don't know what it is right now. Like, I don't know if it's dipped or not. But, for example, like a Shadowless PSA 10 selling for like $2.5 grand. So, there's a big difference on creating wealth in these cards. The markets will dip, markets will go up, markets will go down. But there's nothing saying that in Magic the Gathering that them prices on them cards that you're buying for £1, £2 are not going to go up. You see, I'm seeing the same thing in Magic now, what I was seeing in Pokemon. And I took opportunity to buy in on Pokemon when it was like that, and buying 50 Pikachus off the same dude before he even realised to put his price up. Well, that's just the way it goes, yeah? And it's just the way it goes, yeah? So, for example, this goes into the fact of portfolio diversifying. So when you get into a portfolio diversifying, if you put all your money into Pokemon, and if Pokemon crashes or in 10 years, no one wants vintage cards, no one wants anything from Pokemon cards, you basically, if you've paid off everything, if everything's paid off and you're not on a basically outstanding, you're not outstanding on the item, like say you buy this deck, you sell everything out of the deck, you sell the commons, you sell the box, you sell the tokens, you sell the coin, for example, after a lot of work trying to sell it. But then promos, all the promos, you got a brick. Let's say you got a brick of 2000 Charizard theme deck commons, cards, Shattered Glass Hollows, you know. And let's say, for example, they're not worth nothing after 10 years. Well, that's the risk that you take. So you have to diversifying your portfolio means putting different money into different areas. Now, you don't have to put 100% into Pokemon. You can put 90% into Pokemon. You can put 10% into Yu-Gi-Oh cards. You know, you could put 2 or 3% into magic. You know, you could put 1% into gold. Yeah, or you could like a physical item, yeah, physical metal or something, yeah, or you could, you know, you could basically put 5% into housing, yeah, or of your total assets. So your total net worth is based on all these items. So if your Pokemon's gone to nothing, but your housing's boomed, and you've still got the same amount of money that you've got in housing in Pokemon, it kind of covers your costs. You're not really you're not kind of losing out. But if you've already paid off all your stuff, obviously there's no saying that Pokemon's going to go bust. I'm not saying Pokemon's going to go anywhere. Like, Pokemon's probably going to, I don't know, make extra flashy cards and stuff. But the vintage market could look basically in a position where, like, will people want this stuff when all this flashy new Champions Path Charizard and all this stuff is dead flashy, you know? Even Magic's getting into making flashy items. So, for example, you got theme decks. So I touched on the theme deck kind of thing in a way of a subliminal, like if you've got 2,000 of these Charizard promos, or I was saying it as a promo, it's a Shattered Glass Hollow, it's only basically subject to the theme deck, yeah? So the theme deck is obviously where these Shattered Glass Hollows come from. If you break these cards down, obviously the Shattered Glass Hollows don't face the reprint hammer like the booster boxes do. So when Pokemon do a reprint, they might say, well, we're going to reprint the booster box only, and we're not going to touch the blisters, we're not going to make the blisters no more, or we're not going to make the theme decks, because the theme deck's on in demand. Now, there's one day where probably someone might say, well, I want to collect every theme deck hollow from the theme decks from beginning to end. And they might chase them all down. You know, some of them could be very, very expensive just because it's a different type of hollow. You know, there is one deck from, I would say, you know, I don't really want to tell you the set, but it's a very popular Pokemon, yeah? That Pokemon card is soaring in heights in price right now, like pretty much close to Charizard. So if you know what I'm talking about, that's the kind of Pokemon. And getting that Pokemon in mint condition out of them deck boxes, you'd be lucky to get it come out of 9. So in your Gem Mint 10, that thing's probably going to be booming in cost, yeah? Now, I don't know if any 10s exist. I don't know if anyone has graded it, but I'll probably will check it out myself and have a look, because the one I bought out of a I took out of a theme deck was smash up. Like it had a great big dint in it. Like someone had hit a nail through it with an hammer. Like, literally, that's how deep the indent one is in it. It was literally nearly poking through to the surface of the front of the card. Right? So, you know, if I graded that, I would have got a 6. So, theme deck cards are probably, like, quite good because they don't usually face the reprint hammer. Like, no one's here at 22 minutes in the video. So, no one's really going to see that. So, you don't, you know, you're not here. Yeah? But there's probably one person in the video that gets this far. So, that basically wraps up this video. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.